Students, a warm welcome to Sri Ramanuja Vidya Mandir, myself Pushpata, the English faculty. Well, I gave you some exercises last time in the class. I've told you the difference between a clause and a phrase, and then I've started parts of speech. But before that class, I gave you exercises, but I've not answered or I went with the solution for the last class, because unless I teach you the parts of parts of speech, then if I go for the solutions, I thought you will better understand. So here it is. Before class I gave you to separate the subject and the predicate. I was teaching you about kinds of sentences and parts of sentences, and in the past of sentence we have a subject, predicate. After that, after giving this exercise, again I told you the subject, predicate, and in the predicate you have a direct object, indirect object, and for a linking verb you have a complement. Okay, now this exercise was not solved, so we'll have the solution for this today. Students, you can see the subject and the predicate divided. I've completed two answers for you. The first one and the second one we have solved the first day, and the remaining I gave it for your homework. The boy stood. You remember, students, I was telling you that you first identify the verb. When you identify the verb, to divide the subject and the predicate becomes easy. So that is the reason why I've not discussed the solution in the previous class, because after me completing the parts of speech, you will better understand, I've thought. So here you have stood as an action word, and before that, the boy is the subject. Then I've completed this also the last time for you. Saved is the verb. So before saved, the crackling of geese, all this is the subject. Now the next one is went is the verb. So before went, who went? The teacher and the students. All this in the part of subject. Next is. You can see a linking verb is over here. This is the verb. So all matter is the subject. So you can see the last word here. Here's is the verb. So obviously all this is subject and this is predicate. Lives is the verb. So this is the subject and the predicate. Can serve is the verb. So this is the subject. Should be is the verb. So this is the subject. So you can see, students, the boy is the subject, stood on the burning deck. Verb. The crackling of geese, saved. I was explaining you the geese are not crackling. At that moment, you can hear the crackling sound. So this entire part is noun. So it is a subject. Went is the verb. Is the verb. Hears is the verb. Lives is the verb. Can serve, should be. So you understood, students? First you have to identify the verbs, and before the verbs, whatever comes is going to become the subject. And this is going to be either a complement. You have here a complement, indestructible, and you have direct and indirect objects. The next exercise I gave you is identify the link verb and the action verb. When I'm explaining you direct and indirect, I told you direct and indirect objects only come for transitive verbs. And what are transitive verbs? Mandatory to be action verbs. Whereas the be forms or the possessive forms are going to be the linking verbs. So here we are with a difference in link verb and action verb. We'll see what they are. I gave you, she looks fine. You must have remembered, students, I told you any verb, to identify if it is an action verb or a linking verb, I gave you a blunt a symbol saying that apply is over there. If you apply is and still the sentence is sensible, then it is a linking verb. If your sentence is not sensible, then it is an action verb. I've told you this previously. Now we'll apply the same trick over here. She looks fine. I'm replacing looks with is. Have you seen, students? She is fine. Yes, it's sensible. The sentence is understood. So this is linking verb. When is applied and the sentence is, sensible, it's understood, then that is a linking verb. She looked into the street. If I suppose say she is into the street. No, she is looking into the street. You can see an action done over there. She can't become into the street. So she is not into the street. She is looking into the street. So this is having no sense. So obviously this is going to be a action verb, whereas this is going to be a linking verb. Next one. Already there is over here, so you don't need to apply. Plain, simple. It's a linking verb. Next one is seems. He seems confused. I'm replacing seems with is. So he is confused. So he is confused. The sense is there. So definitely this is going to be a linking verb. Now coming up to grew. Little confusion over here, students. I say is. He is tired of running. The sentence appears to be sensible. But look carefully, students. He is already not tired. Out of running, he became tired. So here, it is not suiting is, but it is suiting became. He became tired. So, because became is the action word, this is going to be an action word. I suppose you understood. Even though the sentence appears to be sensible, he is tired. It is not he is tired. He become tired because of running. So, she was great. Again, same thing. You don't need to apply anything. Am, was, were, all these are linking verbs. We already know. So, it's a linking verb. Next one is, they tasted the pizza. They tasted. Can I say, they are pizza? You can't say they are pizza because it makes no sense. So, when it is not making any sense, when it is not making a sense, they are the pizza. It doesn't make. So, obviously, this is an action word. But for the same thing, tested again, I'm using over here, the pizza is good. Yes, it's sensible. This is not sensible, but this is sensible. The pizza is good. So, then, this is a linking verb. Next, that sounds fantastic. Same thing to apply is. That is fantastic. So, it's a linking verb. But when I say the bugle sounds loudly, can I say is loudly? No, it sounds loudly. So, this is an action verb. So, is not applied over here. It is action verb. So, in this way, first you have to understand, is the verb an action verb or is it a linking verb? Is it linking the subject? Is it linking the complement to the subject? You have to see. Then when you get what is action verbs and what is linking verbs, for action verbs, when it is a transitive verb asking the question what, then it is going to be a direct speech. Asking a question to whom, it's going to be a indirect speech. So, the next slide we are going with. Test your knowledge by picking out which of these examples are clauses and which are phrases. You have to test which are clauses and which are phrases. This is what in the previous class I was going with. The difference between a phrase and a clause, I told you students, both are incomplete sentence. They doesn't make complete sense. But clause has a subject and a predicate. Even after having a subject and predicate, you need something more to make it a complete sense. So that is a clause. Whereas phrase doesn't have a subject or a predicate. They doesn't have a verb or a subject. When there is no verb and when there is no subject, definitely it's a phrase. When there is no subject and when there is no verb, yet it is not a complete sentence, then it is a clause. We had this last time. Now we'll go with the solutions. In a heated manner. In a heated manner, you can see there is no subject anywhere and there is no verb anywhere. So the answer is phrase. Next one, they were arguing in a heated manner. In a heated manner is a phrase. But here you have they, subject, were arguing, verb. Okay, past continuous. So because there is a subject and there is a verb, but there is no complete sense. They were arguing in a heated manner. What? What were they arguing? We don't have the clarity. So it's not a complete sentence. So it is a clause. The presentation of the new product. The presentation of the new product. Where is the subject and where is the verb? So it's a phrase. Leave soon. Look into that sentence carefully, students. Leave soon. Now, most of us will get confused that it is a phrase because you think there is no subject. But an imperative sentence, the subject is inclined. I've told you previously, students, in imperative sentences, the subject you is hidden. You leave soon. It's an order. It's an imperative sentence. You leave soon. So instead of saying you, I say leave soon. Sit down. Stand up. These are orders. Don't use the subject you because it's imperative sentence. They're inclined. So here you have the subject and you have the verb. So definitely it's a clause. Next one. The team leader is giving the same presentation again. The team leader, subject, is giving verb. So obviously clause. The team leader is giving the same presentation again. What presentation? We don't know. So it's a clause. The report consulted. If I say the reporter consulted, the reporter is going to become the subject and he is consulting something. So that is going to become a verb. Then it is going to be a clause. But here I said the report consulted means I'm only talking about a particular consulted report. Who consulted it? I don't have an idea. So there is no subject and there no verb. I'm talking about a consulted report. Please understand, the report consulted means whatever the consulted report is, about that I'm speaking. So it is a phrase. The next one, the managers consulted the annual report. Here I have the manager subject and then consulted verb. So it's a clause. The manager consulted the annual report as what? No sense. It's not a complete sentence. So it's a clause. Will leave soon. Now you again may come to a conclusion that it must be an inclined subject. You will leave soon. No. This is only will leave soon. Okay. You can say my father will leave soon. My brother will leave soon. I will leave soon. So you can't come to a conclusion that it is an imperative and the inclined subject. No. Anything can be applied over here. Here leave soon. When I say, I don't say my father leave soon. This is a command, order. So here compulsory you is going to come. When we will go with the various kinds of when I've explained you the dependent, independent, subordinating or helping, okay, or conditional. When we go with this, you will have a clarity on it. So here you can see, students, will leave soon doesn't mean the hidden you. It can be anybody. Anybody will leave soon. Can be a father, can be a mother, can be myself. So there is no subject. So it is not a clause, it's a phrase. So I suppose you have a clarity on this. We'll have again some more exercises. Again you start working. We have any doubts, then we'll get it clarified. Next one. Identify the parts of speech. In the previous class, I've dwelt with the parts of speech and I've asked you to only identify the parts of speech. Here, Steve can play the trumpet. You can see the can is nothing but a verb. Steve can play. Okay, you can see can play. The play is a verb, so it's a verb. Next one is, do you like dogs? The next one is, do you like dogs? So subject is you, like. So you can see, students, it is okay, do you like dogs? The answer is verb. We are talking about like. Now, they listen to music every day. Here again the verb. They is subject, listen is verb. So this is verb. She is an old lady. Can you see the students? She is an old lady. lady is the noun. I'm modifying the, so it is an adjective. Right. Now, the group went. What is went? Verb. I've told you before, verb, it's subject. So here, a lot of people. We mention people, it's a collective noun, group. So it's a noun. So the group did what? They went. Went climbing up the mountain. So the group is nothing but noun. Group is noun. Next one is interjection. You must have remembered the exclamatory words in the previous class. I've taught you, alas, my dog is dead. So alas is an interjection. It's an exclamatory word. Has your father ever been to Australia? I'm talking about father. This is a fast car. Can you see this, students? Generally when we say see fast, we will think it is an adverb, but I'm not talking about his driving. He drives fast. Then drives how? Fast. So because it's modifying the verb, I will say it is an adverb. But here I'm not talking about his driving. The car itself has a good speed. So this is a fast car. I'm talking about the noun, car. So because it's modifying the noun, it is nothing but adjective. He did well. He did how? Did is verb. He did how? Well. So because it's modifying the verb, it's an adverb. Now the next one, I forgot to give you the underlined word. Okay? The underlined word is my. My. You understood, students? I've told you the subjective case, objective case, possessive cases of pronouns. So here my is the pronoun here. Next one, the play. Here, play is a verb, but here play is a noun because I'm talking about the drama or the skit or whatever. So this is a noun because the noun was fantastic. The play was, the drama is beautiful. That's the meaning. So here play is not showing an action. It's a noun. Then Rahul is swimming across the stream. There is a stream and I'm showing the position, in which position he is going, swimming across the stream. So across is preposition. I'll give you some more examples or some more exercises. When you work with them, probably you'll understand. But for that we will next start articles. After you understanding the indefinite articles and definite articles, then I'll give you exercise and I will ask you every word in the sentence to identify the parts of speech. Then it will become more clear for you. Anyway, articles, a and the. We heard this a number of times in our school days. We were continuously hearing this. So we will go with that today. Indefinite article, definite article. You must have seen, students, indefinite article. The indefinite articles are a and an. The definite article is the. We heard this a lot of times. Generally when we say a or an, everybody comes to the conclusion a consonant requires a vowel requires an, and the particular things will require the. To that extent, everybody understands. But deeper, of course, most of you must be knowing, or maybe some of you know. But when you go for the in detail, there are lots and lots of differences of applying a and an and applying the. So we'll have a look into it. Articles a and the. Articles a and the are determiners. This is mostly used in the CBSE and ICSE syllabus, determiners. Okay, anything which is modifying in the sentence is called a determiner. So this modifies. It marks the noun. What kind of noun? It marks a book, the book. So they act like modifiers. So they are called also as determiners. So articles are determiners or noun makers. Can you see this? They make the noun. Any book, that book. Okay, it can act like a demonstrative adjective, or you can say that particular book. So it is marking the noun. It is telling us the status of the noun. So it becomes also as a noun markers that function to specify if the noun is general or specific. Look into this point. General or specific. That's important. Nouns. There are many types of nouns. Some nouns are general. Okay. An uncle. Somebody. Or my uncle. Particularly you're talking about your uncle. The uncle. So this is a general. For general you will be using indefinite articles. For specific you use the. That is a definite article. Remember? I repeat once again, articles are determiners or noun makers that function to specify if the noun is general or specific in its reference. Often the articles chosen depends on if the writer and the reader understand the reference of the noun. You are confused. Sometimes you say, I'm waiting for a bus. Then some of the people say, I'm waiting for the bus. Now, which article is correct? I'm waiting for a bus or I'm waiting for the bus? Now, I'm waiting for a bus. Now, you are in the bus stop. Any bus which comes in that way, you wanted to board. You wanted to travel in the same direction, a little far away. So, any bus which comes is, will take you to your destination. So I'm waiting for a bus, any bus. I'm waiting for the bus. Unless and until that bus comes, you can't board any bus. So that makes a difference. It is general. General is indefinite. If it is a consonant A, vowel an. Indefinite articles will be used for general. And definite articles will be used for specific. So bear this in your brain, students. The way the writer understands and the reader understands with the reference of the noun. Now here I have given you an example. I said, a boy met an accident. I am not particular about the boy. I am not specific about the boy. Some boy. You are traveling on the road. In front of your eyes, you saw somebody hit against by a car and the fellow fell down. He met an accident. So you tell your friend, a boy, because you don't know who the boy is. It's a general, it's not specific, non-specific. So you say a boy. A boy, some boy. That means met an accident. He got an accident. That is also not specific. So this is indefinite pronouns. Can you see? They are indefinite pronouns. Now you are talking about the same boy. The boy who met the accident has broke his arm. Now here you are not specifying the boy. Some boy, you don't know which boy that is. But then the very same boy, specifically that boy who met an accident has broke his arm. So you are going to use a definite article here. I suppose you understood, students. A is unspecific. So here you are using indefinite articles a and an. But when you are speaking about the same boy specifically, then you are going to apply for the same boy the, because now you are specifying him. You are going to use the article, definite article. Now we'll have a look into the indefinite articles a and the. First we will have a look into the indefinite articles a and the. Now the articles a and an are indefinite articles. I've told you previously, these are indefinite articles. A and an are indefinite articles. They are used with a singular countable noun when the noun referred to is non-specific or generic. Again, I repeat and tell you, singular, but they are general, non-specific. So I repeat again and I tell you, indefinite articles are only used for generic or non-specific. And A is used for consonant and an is used for vowels. Fine. Don't get confused. I am presently in this step telling you that much only. A plus consonant, an plus vowel. I suppose you know vowels. A, E, I, O, U. That is the reason why I put this in red letters, so that you will make out what the vowels are. We have 5 vowels in our English letters, alphabets. That is A, E, I, O, U. Other than the A, E, I, O, U, all the remaining letters are mentioned to be consonants. So, you understood that you have to put article an in front of vowels and A in front of consonants. This much here. Next. I gave you a small exercise, students. Let us answer for a better clarity or better understanding. We'll see. This is elephant. So I'm going to write an elephant. Car, a car. Teacher, a teacher. Onion, you know what is onion, a vegetable. An onion. Spinach omelette. Omelette is a vowel, but I'm talking about spinach omelette. So it is a spinach omelette. Interesting. Interesting. An interesting story. Story is a consonant, but I'm talking about not the story, but interesting story. So, an. Even the adjectives, not only nouns. Omelette is noun, but I'm talking about spinach omelette. So, adjectives also will take the articles. Now, university. Now, all this is clear. There is no doubt you have answered. But now, when I come to this part, university. This is a vowel. You must have seen, students. This is a vowel. U. U-N-I, A-E-I-O-U. U is a vowel. But I'm not pronouncing it as a. Umbrella, a. So, vowels pronounce that a, u, e. This production of sounds comes for the vowels. But here, I'm pronouncing it as university. See, students, I'm pronouncing with Y. So, because I'm pronouncing with Y, this is not going to take an, it is going to take A. A university, because I'm using a consonantal sound here. European, same thing. European. Now, because I'm using pronunciation, I'm going to say a European tour. R. Though it is starting with H, a consonant, I'm not using the H. H is silent. When H becomes silent, I'm saying R. An R. I'm late by an R. M-A. Though it is a consonant, I'm saying A. M. I'm using it like this. M. A. Can you see, students? I'm pronouncing this with A. M. I'm not saying Ma. Ma is a consonantal sound. This is A. M. A. So, because it is starting with a vowelic sound, I'm going to use an. So, remember, students, consonants are different from consonantal or vowelic sounds. So, the point what you have to bear in your brains is not, I repeat, is not a consonant or an vowel. No. You're going to start with a consonantal sound, vowel sound. So, this is important. Consonantal sound or vowel sounds. Now, I suppose you have a little more clarity on the usage of articles. It's a consonantal sound or a vowel sound. Now, A is used for consonantal sounds, An is used for vowel sounds. You can see R, I just now explained you. H is silent, so it is going to be pronounced as R. an R, but here house, you're pronouncing with H, house. Here uncle, ah, I'm pronouncing with a vowelic sound, so you are going to say an uncle. But when I say university, I'm pronouncing it with U. So it is going to be a university. Now, before going for the next one, countables, uncountables, remember students, indefinite article only be placed before countable singular nouns. Singular noun, when will you know it is a singular noun? Only when it is countable. For uncountables, indefinite articles a and should not be used. So for that, first we will see items. This food can't be counted. I can't say give me a bread. I will say give me a slice of bread or give me a loaf of bread. Get me a soap is wrong. You can't count soap. Get me a cake of soap. So there is a chair. He's sitting in a chair. One chair. So I'm telling about, I can count the chair. I'm considering it as a singular, a chair. But I can't count wood. He's sitting on a wood. No. Wood is uncountable. It is materialistic noun. So anyway, when I go for various kinds of nouns, I only gave you the outline of parts of speech, the 8 parts of speech. Now I'm going to go with every part of speech and how many types of each one is there. So I don't want to confuse all that at the first stage. So slowly when you try to understand, things become clearer. So when I go for that, you will understand all these things. But here at the present, you only understand, can I count this? Water. Can I count water? No. Give me a glass of water. Give me a cup of milk. They can't be counted. Okay? They are uncountable. Whereas these are countables. So first identify if the noun is countable or uncountable. And remember students, countable speakers only will have indefinite articles. Uncountables will not have indefinite articles. So today we are dealing with only this part, noun. Noun has 2 types, countable, uncountable. I am not going to touch uncountable today, touching the countable. Incountable, again you have 2 parts, that is singular, plural. Incountable, you have 2 types, that is singular, plural. Today we are only dealing with indefinite articles a, an. So I have nothing to do with plurals. I'm not touching plurals. I'm only going with singulars. Now in singular again you have 2 parts, non-specific, specific. Which is specific, I told you students, they will take the article the. Which is non-specific, which you have no, which are general, which are not specified of, they only will take a or an. So in today's class, we will only deal with a and an, which are non-specific, which are singular, which are countable nouns. So today we are only dealing with nouns, countable, singular, non-specific, a and an. I just give you some exercise. A cell phone. Remember students, this is singular. So some cell phone you're talking about. So it's non-specific because it's a consonantal sound. A is correct. Next one, an easy question. Easy. You're not saying easy. You're not using Y pronunciation there. You're using a pronunciation there. And singular. You're talking about one question. So it's singular and it is a consonantal sound. So an is applied. Here you have shirts. Can you see? It's plural. I told you singular non-specific only will have a or an. This is non-specific. No doubt some shirts we are talking about. We are talking about plural. So because it's a plural, you don't have article. So round cross. Next one, pretty woman. I'm talking about a woman. How is she? Pretty. Adjectives also will take article, I told you. So this is singular. A pretty woman. So it's correct, accepted. Happiness is an uncountable. Of course, I gave you here. It's uncountable, and uncountable nouns will not take article. Wrong. Water. Just now I told you that is also uncountable. So that also will not take article. Table. Singular. So it's going to take an article. Idea. Singular. So that also is going to take an article, an, because it's a consonantal sound. Doctors, plural, I gave you there. So you're not going to take article here. Advice is uncountable. Give me a piece of advice. You don't say give me a advice. It's wrong. Or an advice. It's wrong, because it's uncountable. So first of all, when you identify the nouns as countables, uncountables, and if it is countables, singular or plural, then consonantal sound or vowelic sound, and then you apply a or an. Seems to be a little confusing, but don't worry students, very easy. Here in your board exam, you know, you have the first exercise in your grammar. You'll be having 6 blanks, each carrying half mark. For 3 marks you will have it to supply or to fill in the blanks with suitable articles. So just now I gave you, fill in the blanks with suitable articles. This is applied. Fill in the blanks with suitable articles. This you will have as your first part of your grammar. For 6 blanks you'll be given half mark each, 3 marks. But then you will also have in your grammar identify the errors in the grammar. They may give you a preposition mistake or an article mistake. So here they will be giving you some mistakes. You have to identify the mistakes and you have to correct, identify the errors. This also is there in your grammar, but that will be with a mixture. The first question in your grammar is only articles, but error corrections will be prepositions, will be adjectives, will be articles. So here that is applied. The next one is insert. They will give you a sentence and they will not give you articles. They will say insert an article wherever is required. So for that we have got this exercise. My car is a, you have the answer, a 2001 Ford Fusion. So you're talking about the model of the car. You can use your TV. You can use your TV as a laptop monitor. So today your TVs has become smart TVs. So you can use your TV as a laptop. Jim's daughter is an intelligent girl. You're modifying an adjective. I'd like to become a member of your library. I'm a teacher. My profession I'm telling about. I'm a teacher. He worked as a cashier for 2 years. So now how to apply these indefinite articles? Have a quick look into the rules of indefinite articles. Usage of indefinite articles. When a singular noun is introduced for the first time, I've told you students, first time you saw a boy meeting an accident, you say a boy met an accident. So I met a doctor. He is an engineer. In the sense of one, I bought a dozen apples. Remember students, I'm talking about plural apples, but I'm not talking about all the apples. I'm talking about dozen. That means 12. It makes a unit. Okay, I bought a dozen apples. He has an ulcer. In the sense of any, I'm waiting for a bus. I've told you, I gave you this example. He would catch an auto, any bus. To turn proper nouns into common nouns, we had a Taj tragedy again here. Taj is a proper noun. Remember students, before proper nouns, a should not be used. Never should be using a article before a proper noun. We'll have omissions of articles in the next class. You're not supposed to use it. But here I'm not talking about that particular Taj tragedy, but I'm comparing the tragedy something over here and saying a tragedy. So A can be used there. Before a proper noun, when a speaker is uncertain about, some fellow came, some Mr. Murthy came, I will come and tell, Mr. Murthy came. I don't know who that Murthy is. Mr. Murthy came. So there also I can use, even though it is a proper noun, I can use because I'm indefinite about him. Use as a single unit. I've just now told you. A million. Give me a 10 rupee. I'm not talking about 10 rupees. I'm talking about a note, a unit. Next one is single noun representing whole class. An apple a day keeps doctor away. So I'm talking about the entire category of apples. Means all the apples are good to eat. Indicates profession. He is an actor. I am a teacher. In sense of every. He spent rupees 5,000 a day. Matlab every day. Each day he will spend 5,000 rupees. So here, like this, you have particular rules. Remember, students, you have to just be thorough with those rules. Then only you will be able to insert or omit your articles. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult. Well, in the next class, we will continue with definite articles. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.